people still mill about the village circle, talking about the results of the vote. So I hurry around the back of the buildings at the edge of the village to try to get to Xander. It's dark and dank here, hemmed in by the trees and mountains. And as I come up behind the research lab, I almost step on something twisted in the mud. Not something, someone. Ochre is here. He's lying on the ground, face caught in the grimace or a smile. It's hard to tell with his skin sketched so tight over his old sharp bones. No, no, I say, and I stop. I bend down to touch him. No air comes out of his mouth, and I put my ear to his chest. I don't hear his heart beating. Even though he is still warm, Ochre, I whisper, and I look at his open eyes, and I see that one of his hands is muddy. Why? I wonder, irrationally, and then I see that he's made something in the mud, a shape that seems familiar. It's a look like he pressed his knuckles into the earth 3 times to make a short star. I sit back on my heels, my knees dirty and my hands shaking. There's nothing I can do for him, but if anyone can help Ochre, it's Xander. I stand up and stagger the last few steps to the research lab, pleading, Xander, Xander, please be here. The door is locked. I pound and call out his name. When I stop to take a breath, I hear the villagers coming up the path on the other side of the building. They heard me. Xander, I cry out. When he opens the back door, I need you. I say, Ochre's dead. And Hunter's disconnected all is still. I'm about to say more, and then Lena and the others come around the back of the building and stop short. What has happened? Lena says, looking down at Ochre. Her face doesn't change at all, and I understand why, because this is beyond comprehension. Ochre cannot be dead. It looks like a heart attack, says one of the medics, his face ashen. His knees are in the mud next to Ochre. They tried to bring him back by breathing for him and pushing on his chest to get his heart beating again. Nothing works. Lena sits back on her heels, wiping her face in her hands. She's muddy now. She pulls the bag from Ochre's shoulder and searches inside. The bag is empty except for a dirt shovel and traces of soil. What was he doing? She asked Xander. He wanted to find something, Xander says. He didn't tell me what it was. He won't let me come with him. For a moment it is completely silent. Everyone stares down at Ochre. They're still in the infirmary, I say. They've all been unhooked. The medics look up. Are any of them dead? He asks me. No, I say. But I don't know how to start their lines again, please. And you shouldn't go alone. The medics there were attacked. Cullen signals to several others, who then leave with the medic. Lena stays behind, looking at Xander with the same flat expression she had since she first saw Ochre. I want to run to be with Kai, but suddenly I have a terrible feeling that Xander is the one most in danger right now, and I cannot leave him alone. Everything isn't lost, Lena says. Ochre left us the cure. This strikes me as funny, though. Nothing should in the moment like this. Minutes ago, we were voting between Lena's plan and Ochre's. Now Lena has come around to believing that we shouldn't do what Ochre suggested. His death changed her mind. I have to sort out what has happened with Xander, and I have to find out what can cure Kai and why Hunter is letting patients go. And what Ochre is trying to tell us with the star he made in the mud, and the villagers are now trampled into oblivion. And no one but me has seen. Let's get the cure, Lena says to Xander, and I take one of my hands and hold one tight as he walks back into the research lab. He lets me touch him, but something is wrong. He doesn't hold on to me like he used to do. His muscles are tensed. What have you done? Lena asks. For the first time since I've known her voice sounds small. It's shocked. Ochre asked me to get rid of them, Xander says. The sink is full of empty tubes. Ochre told me he'd been wrong about the Candida cure, Xander says. He was planning on making something new. He didn't want us to waste time trying anything else before he had a new cure ready. So what was he going to put in this new cure? Cullen asks. He wants to know. He at least appears to be listening, instead of automatically assuming that Xander destroyed the cures for his own reasons. Anna won't listen too. If she were here, what is she doing now? What's going to happen, Hunter? How is Kai? I asked Ochre, Xander says, but he won't tell me. But then, saying this, he loses Cullen. You're saying that Ochre trusted you enough to ask you to ruin all the cures, but he didn't trust you enough to tell you what he was going to find, or how he planned to make the new cure. Yes, Xander says. That's what I'm saying. For a long moment, Lena and Cullen looked at Xander, In the sink, one of the empty tubes clinks and settles. You don't believe me, Xander says. You think I killed Ochre and ruined the cure on my own. Why would I do that? I don't have to know why you did it, Colin says. All I know is that you've cost the village time, which we don't have. Lena turns to the other two assistants. Can you make more that can see a cure? Yes, Noah says. But it's going to take some time. Get started, Lena says. Now. The village takes both Hunter and Xander to the prison building. The medics in the infirmary weren't dead, only unconscious. Now the others still have died. But the villagers will hold Hunter accountable for the earlier two deaths and for the disconnecting the other patients and compromising their health. And Xander, of course, has destroyed the Canvasia cure in the village, best and last chance at the other lands. Some believe that Xander harmed Ochre, but since there's no evidence to support that, Xander is only being held accountable for the cures. People look at him like he's killed something, which I suppose to them he has, even if it's only the cure and not the creator. It's true that the still, and the chance of saving them seems much further away with Ochre gone. What are you going to do with Xander and Hunter? I asked Lena. We'll have another vote after we've had time to gather evidence, Lena says. The people will decide. Out in the village circle, I see the villagers and the farmers taking back their stones. The water in the trough spills away.